the fact that I say what I mean and I mean what I say, and I learned a lot of this stuff from Bob Busby and Ron Johnson. Early in my career, I started with Ron Johnson at Gilmore and Bob Busby at Cleveland State. And Bob was the young ladies that swam for Bob actually were Hall of Fame type people. They are individuals, and that includes my wife Sue. They were individuals who never got beat.
Wally exudes certainly the Jesuit mantra of cura personalis and his attentiveness to not just the abilities of the individual swimmer, but to their mindset and how they are in terms of maturation and where they're at personally. Wally, I think a lot of swimmers will fondly remember his tough love, but it was always meant to bring out our best selves, not just in terms of our abilities in the pool, but really to, catalyze our abilities as a whole person.
In terms of life lessons that Wally taught me, I'd say the two that stick with me the most, among many others, but are hard work and humility. And I think Wally is an embodiment of hard work and humility. Wally was at every single practice before we started, and he stayed after we finished. He was at every meet on weekends. He would drive out of his way in the off season to see his swimmers at meets all across the Northeast Ohio area. And he never asked for anything in return. Wally was there day in and day out, but to him the measure of success was how well the team did and how well his swimmers did. And watching that and witnessing that as a swimmer, I think that rubbed off quite a bit. And clearly swimming is a pretty grueling sport. Swimming with Wally, maybe even a little bit more grueling with some of the sets that he would put us through.
I remember we had to swim a lot of 500s one day, like, I don't know, a million. But I was in one lane and everybody was very tired. It was, 45 minutes into it, and we just kept going and going. And I remember he looked at me and he just said, "Kid, you got this. You're going to be great." And I think I was a freshman.
It was fun to see the kids figure out how they could be better than they were and how to focus and to do things that I think some of them never thought they'd be able to do. So it was wonderful to see kids figuring that they could be better than they are and to realize a potential that they didn't really know was there.
Wally was the coach that made you think above and beyond the scope of your high school experience. The conversations that I had with Wally far extended, the confines of the pool. And I can gratefully say my experience with him in terms of the discipline of the pool has extended into my adult life. Very, very sincerely is the reason I'm a triathlete today. The reason that I get up early is because Wally instilled with me. Obviously, there were the 5 a.m. Christmas practices, but really, truly is the discipline of self. And Wally really went above and beyond in terms of his care for me. Not to share too much, but it was an interesting time. It was 2001. There was a lot changing in the world. And Wally lived in my hometown. And so some of my favorite memories of Wally is, he would gratefully drive me home in his van after practice, and he had a TV and we'd watch the evening news and discuss it.
It was really interesting having my parents both be swim coaches and be my coach for many years. They didn't always have feedback that I wanted to hear because they were pretty tough on me, but I also knew they were tough on the other athletes as well, and it always came from a good spot. It came from a desire to push the swimmers to be the best that they knew that they could be, and to put everything into the water, not leave anything out.
Tim, you had a good one too. He's almost like a mother hen.
Yeah. Porter reminded me of how at I think our district meet and just like all the big meets, like Wally was this guy who would collect us in terms of, it's early morning. There's like tons of swimmers all around. There's like 15 teams inside this pool deck, and we're like half awake and just like trying to find some semblance of normalcy. And Wally would just kind of like, fend off some space for us, fend off some chairs, some bleachers,
Well, I mean, we had the same space every time.
Exactly.
In whatever meet we went to, and like in Cleveland State, he would just start commandeering chairs and taping them together with athletic tape.
Yeah.
So we had a string of chairs next to the diving boards.
Almost daring other coaches to like invade. He's like, try me. Just try me.
They were going
to fight for his team.
But no, I mean, he always made sure we had a lane. He always made sure, like you're saying, Tim, that we had an area to like, rest and recover in between events. And, in that kind of hectic space, he made sure we were in a spot that we could go and perform as best as possible.
Yeah, definitely a steadying force in all the chaos there.
My son, whatever Wally told Porter to do, you do that, Porter. And that was it. I was out. And from one coach to another, I had the utmost respect for him. And so whatever Wally wanted, that was fine with me. And I just turned him over completely, which all parents should do, but we always don't. But I had no problems. And I can only wish that what Wally did with our son, and I watched him with the other athletes, the other swimmers and divers, is I just wish parents could have as much fun watching their children compete as we watched Porter compete. It was just a ball. And that starts with the head guy.
Yes, we developed a cheer that was basically 1, 2, 3. I would yell 1, 2, 3. I would count, and the kids would yell team 1, 2, 3 pride 1, 2, 3 Walsh, and that worked very well for us as a cheer.
He was tough, but you had to earn his respect. And for me, I always remember I tried so hard because I wanted to earn his respect. And I knew once I had his respect that he just put a lot of time and effort into improving all of us as swimmers and as a team.
As a coach, I describe Wally as someone who coaches truly because of his genuine love and investment in the sport and in the teams that he coaches. I swam with Wally on the high school team at Walsh, and then I also swam for Wally in the off season, and I helped Wally coach a summer swim team over the summer. And it didn't matter what team it was, didn't matter what time of year it was. He was just as excited coaching on a July evening with the 8 and under kids at a dual meet as he was at the state championships with Walsh when he had swimmers who were contending for and winning state championships. And that's the type of coach that Wally is, and that's what made it so special to swim with Wally, was that you could tell that he did it not because he needed to, but because he wanted to. And he brought that day in and day out without fail. Wally was always there making sure that we knew what we were doing, and then just pushing the team to go that one bit further.